You know, I've had a lot of people ask me over the years about my little necklace, my jewelry, and very few people know about these custom earbuds that I make, and you can make them too relatively easily. And they help in so many ways. They keep the wind noise down and keep your earbuds from falling out of your ears while you're riding down the road. All kinds of really good things for 10, 12 bucks. But I want to talk about that here shortly and explain why you need to consider making your own. Brothers and sisters, today I want to talk to you about not so much communication, but ear protection inside your helmet and the ability to listen to your favorite podcast, music, whatever you're into while you're riding. Occasionally I listen to an audiobook, listen to a lot of podcasts, listen to a lot of music. And at one point I was known to use Sena headsets that attach to the side of your motorcycle helmet. But I have gotten so upset with a number of things. Number one, they're $300, $400 a piece. I've got tired of spending that money only to have them fail within a year or two. And not just that, every one I've ever had, I've had to modify because those damn things come with these big speakers that fit inside your helmet that put out a lot of noise, but they don't put it into your ear. And especially if you've got a lot of wind noise, you have to turn your speakers up so much that not only it drains your battery really quickly, but you can't really hear what you're trying to listen to. So I always end up modifying. How about that? I've always ended up modifying mine. And usually what I do is I splice in something like some of these old earbuds here and run them in. So I've got these hanging out of the helmet. So it's kind of a pain in the butt, but these are so much better audio, I have found. Even the most expensive Senas out there, I have found that those crappy speakers they put in there, and it may just be they're not close enough to my ear. I don't know. But I've just given up. I've given up because, number one, they break, they're too expensive, and the audio is not really what I'm looking for. So I started doing things like this about 3 years ago, I think. This is probably my third or fourth iteration, but this is just a highly modified Bluetooth earbuds that basically connects to my phone. These are disgusting and nasty, but they still work and they're put out pretty good audio. But this is what I swapped off for it. I don't make that many phone calls anymore while I'm riding, so that's not that big of an issue anymore. So I don't need the Sena. I don't need those expensive headsets anymore. I can get $30, $40, $50, and these things have phenomenal sound. But what I want to show you today is something much more interesting. I've talked to a few people about it, and they're always shocked when I talk about it. But it's this guy here. These guys are what I use to custom form fit these earbuds. I take these things off and replace it with these custom molded earplugs. They're basically that's what people use in industry to keep from losing their hearing, and they work really good. But what I do is I wrap it around the outside of the earbud, push the earbud through the center of it, and it's amazing. And this is probably, I don't know, I've probably done this 4 or 5 times, and I do break these, but usually they break when they fall off my neck, because I'll wear these things all day, especially when I'm riding. I'll wear these things all day, which is why they're highly modified, because this is how this thing comes. This thing flops and falls off your neck if you're not careful. But if you got this thing wrapped around it, it's not gonna fall off, or at least if it does fall off, you'll know it when it does. So but yeah, so I got another one the other day. I just did this one last night, and I sat around thinking after I put it together. Yeah, I didn't do a good job on it. I waited a little bit too long, but these are really good earbuds. They come with the not so floppy attachment, so I really like these. But I had some leftover. I didn't use enough. That's the other problem. I didn't use enough on these. I chopped it in half because I didn't want a big hunk of plastic hanging out. So I chopped the ingredients in half. So I've got enough to make another set, and I've got these older JBLs that I've never converted. So that's what we're going to do today. First step is you take the old cushions off and put them somewhere. You can always, if you don't like the result of this, you can always take them back and convert them back. But I would say the first thing that I would recommend you doing, especially if you had these things in your ears, you got wax in your ears, you got greasy hands, you got greasy ears, you got first thing is just put some rubbing alcohol on there. Get all the ear wax off, all the grease, so this thing sticks nicely, and just let that dry for a few minutes. And while you're mixing up this stuff, go ahead and pull this out here. These I think these run about 10-12 bucks. You can pick them up at what's the fishing place, the outdoors place, I can't think of it. Fishing something, hunting, fishing, I don't know. It's one of the I'll put the name in here. But yeah, so it basically comes in this little box here. Radians is the name. That's the name. If you look that up online, you can buy it off of Amazon or that fish place. It's a fishing, hunting store. They're all over the place. I can't think of the name of it because I'm brain dead. But anyway, it comes in that box. It comes in a glob, 2 globs, and you're supposed to mix them together. And you can see I have cut my 2 globs in half. So I've got basically half of each that are left over, and they're kind of sweaty. I may not have mixed these. I may not have cut them in the right proportions. It's got a little bit more red in here. But basically, you just fold it over until it's blended. And they come in different colors. I've got some orange. I've done beige, orange. I can't remember. I would say do something that probably matches your skin, because they're going to get nasty. They're in and out of your ears, and this stuff shows up pretty well. So yeah, just knead it like you're making biscuits. Mostly dudes watch this channel, so I'd be surprised if there's 10 of you guys out there that have ever made biscuits. But if you have, drop a comment below. I would like to know. I've made biscuits, but I like to cook too, so there's that. So once you get the glob mixed up pretty good, it's pretty well mixed up here. What I like to do is do not get any on the inside of the that's where all the sound comes out. So what I like to do is just kind of circle around the outside. 2 trailer park girls go around the outside like this, kind of like in a funnel, and you're just going to jam this thing down in your ear, which is going to be a little bit painful. Don't jam it all the way down in there. And then what I like to do is typically what I do is I cut it in half and use 1/2 on one ear and 1/2 on the other, let it set up. But since I've mixed these all up at the same time, I don't have that luxury of doing 2 at different times. I'm gonna have to do them both at the same time. But basically that's what you're doing. You're just jamming this thing in your ear, and you're probably going to have to get it pretty close to, and now you're just jamming it in your ear after that. And it's gonna deform once you stick it in. And once that happens, you want to kind of work the mold around the outside, because it's going to push out. And once you start working it out, mold it inside your ear cavity. I would recommend your first time using the whole mold, because mine's kind of an advanced technique that I'm not really good at. So I don't want to tell you how to do it not right, and that's what I would be doing. So once you get it inside your ear, it takes about 10 minutes to set up. So you cannot tarry, because this stuff will harden on you on the outside. And this is what it's going to look like when you take it out. Well, geez, I haven't done a good job in a while. I mean, these work fine. These work a lot better than the earplugs did before, and I say that because the worst thing is these are the cushions that came with this. These things, for some reason, would fall out of my ear. They would work their way out, and when you're riding down the road on a motorcycle and your earbuds start falling out, you gotta stop. It's really hard to peel the inside of your helmet open so you can stick your fingers inside there and push the earbuds back in there. So I had enough of that. That's why I went ahead and pulled the trigger on this one. I could have done a better job, but I probably should have used the whole compound on one, or half on one of these and half on the other, instead of, I just wanted smaller earbuds this time. But yeah, they look funky. But if you remember to which one to put in your ear, everything will go smooth. But yeah, $10-12. It's worth the trial and error, and it took me a little while to get the technique down. But you can find these guys on Amazon, Radians, like $10-12. I'll put a link below. And the Fish and Woods and Water, no, not Woods and Water, that's a Tuscaloosa thing. It's whatever. It's oh, and they got instructions too. And that's what it's supposed to look like if you do it correctly. That's what all the ones I've used, the whole thing. Anyway, I've been wanting to put this out there for people that, man, this is probably one of the coolest tips that I know of, and I did a terrible explanation of it, but the idea is out there now, and you can use these. As far as I know, I'm the only one on planet Earth using these inside a helmet. Maybe some of the guys I've talked to about it, maybe some of the guys that see me walking around with these things hanging on my neck went home and tried it. But it's awesome. It's a fraction of the price of Sena's and those big fancy headsets, and works so much better. The only downside is you don't have a microphone coming up inside your helmet, but you could probably rig one of those up too. Yeah, I would rather build my own, just because for $300 or $400, I could totally build my own. I could totally build my own headset and everything. I could put it all inside the helmet. The downside with these things, this is why I've got 3 of those right now. I've got 3 of these right now, because the batteries, this is supposed to have a 48-hour battery, or no, a 24-hour battery. It's got the biggest battery, or the longest lasting battery, but still, the way I ride, I will have this thing blasting for 8 hours. And it'll be getting pretty close to needing a recharge. But I've got 3 of them now, so I can always have 1 or 2 on charge while I'm riding down the road. So I've always got one charged. And that's why I wanted to redo the ones I've got in my ears now, just because I had the extra stuff. And but yeah, I would say trial and error is your best friend, and I think you'll be shocked if you actually get the first one to work. The second one should be cake, but just kind of mold it around the outside. Make sure this thing is clear. If you put too much, or you get some on top like I did here, I cut it off. so it's not jamming down in your ear and hurting you. Main thing is to get this thing flat towards your ear canal. So feel where it is when you stick it in there and it sounds good, or your audio sounds good. Feel where that is. Make sure that you've got this thing pointed in the right direction, because I've done a couple that were pointed off camera. So you put it in the hole and it's pointed down, or not pointed directly towards your eardrum, and it doesn't sound as good as it should. So that would be my thing, is when you put it in there, make sure that, you know, when you put it in, it feels just like it did when you had the cushions on there. But yeah, I highly recommend this technique. There's probably a better way to do it than I do it, but mine works pretty well, and I've got, I don't know, 100,000+ miles on my earbuds, and the only earbuds that I have broken have fallen off my neck and I've ridden over them, or somebody stepped on them or something like that. So all the earbuds that I have that are defective now, that don't work, have been crushed for some reason. So in other words, it was not a design flaw, other than the fact that, you know, these stay on my neck pretty well, but the other ones, the floppier ones, don't. In fact, if you pull them out of your ear and forget to put them back on when you're rolling down the road on your motorcycle, they'll blow off. Especially if you don't have these things on them. These kind of anchor them around your neck. So yeah, with this, or the makeshift stuff, you know, these little bendy things that you get at Home Depot, I love those things. Anyway, that's what I got for you. Get you some Radians, save you the money, get better audio. Maybe the next time you see me talking about this, I will have engineered a microphone a microphone that I can actually make phone calls with. I do miss those. I just don't make a lot of phone calls while I'm riding anymore. I don't take a lot of calls. I'm better than that.